In a recent video, I did a bunch of camber testing with rear-wheel drive RC drift cars. 10 laps with 0, 10 laps with 1, 2, 3, example, over and over and over again. And the results were really clear. The more camber I added, the slower the car got. And in this video, I'm addressing a lot of the questions and concerns that some of you had. That initial test was on concrete at my local drift track, Cookeville Hobbies. And some of the overwhelming questions and feedback that I got was, yeah, that works. Maybe that's true for concrete, but many folks out there gave me a lot of grief saying that the answer would be different if I was on a ptile of some form. So in this video, that is exactly what I went back out and retested. Just to say it one more time, my absolute, how I do this test every time, set the car down, do 10 laps, trying to hit every clipping point and be right on line all the way around the track. And then I come back and I time them using my video camera software to see down to frame by frame every single lap time. Do that for 10 clean laps for every setup, and then we can compare and average that data. And they have what I lovingly refer to as a tile. It is a p-tile, but it is not the Japanese totally p-tile. It is an American p-tile, so it's a tile. And based on the learnings from the concrete, I just jumped through the test in the exact same way. I started with an absolute 0-degree camber, went up in increments all the way up through 10 degrees of camber. The dang tire was laid over a bunch, and the results, it got slower. You can see here in this chart, when we were at 0 degrees, it was about 29 seconds was my average lap. When I got up to the 7 degrees, 10 degrees, 32, 31 seconds. That's a huge time delta across a lap. If you are chasing somebody in a drift competition and you are multiple seconds a lap slower than them, this is a big deal, and you're gonna notice. Just to make sure that there wasn't some kind of track evolution, temperature difference, anything else like that at the end of the day, I went back to 1 degree at the end of the day and set yet another fastest lap. 28.9 was my overall average. This just works. At the end of the day, more contact patch is better. And all of you are already mad at me for saying this all loud, but there is more. There is not just this. I'm giving you this answer so early on in the video because there's more to talk about here. One of the comments that people explained why they thought more camber on tile was better was because you concentrated all the forces on a narrower contact patch and you would heat that area up and it would make the car faster. Well, so what I did is at the end of each one of the runs, I did a temperature profile across the tire using my handy dandy Sky RC temperature gauge. Outside of the tire, like 80, inside of the tire, like 83, 82. All right, we can see we're on the very inside of the tire. I am surprised how much that actually does still at this crazy camber go in further, but we're still only, even with a lot of throttle and all this crazy camber, we're still only getting to 85, 86 on the inside, still only 79, 80 on the outside. Checking the baseline on the front again, still 73. So I was the same the whole way through this test. But you know, I was getting temperatures in the mid 80s, which I just didn't get in the concrete. I didn't get as much temperature of a delta. I even measured the front tires to make sure what the difference is in the front tires is kind of a control. And I was getting a bigger delta on the tile than I was on the concrete. So maybe there is some truth there, although it still ends up being a degree or two. It ends up being a small amount. It is not a lot to really be worried about. So to all the people out there that said you get more heat on tile, like, I think you're probably technically correct, but I don't know if it's on the scale enough to really make a difference. So then you all are gonna be like, but Troy, what about these burn tunes and heat and temperature in your tires matters? I'm a moron, clearly, because I'm not talking about that. But here is something that I saw on these tile tracks that I did not see on concrete that I thought was really interesting. So here's a chart of lap after lap after lap with a couple different camber angles on it. And what I want you to draw your attention to is the first couple laps. Look at how the first 2 to 3 laps are noticeably slower than all the other laps from it. And this repeated at every single camber measurement. So there was something about getting out there and the tire actually warming up over a lap. And what's even more interesting is this right here, which is the same chart with multiple different tests going on at the concrete track, and you notice it just doesn't exist. This warm up, this ramp in factor of temperature just doesn't exist on the concrete. So there's something about that tire legitimately holding extra heat on the tile that it doesn't in the concrete. This is really interesting, and the data just shows it. And then if you're really curious about, okay, does warming up my tires before a comp, does it really matter? And the answer comes back to being a resounding yes. So if you look at all of the data that I put together and you look at the maximum time versus the minimum time across all of the camber ranges and then average that out together, the delta from slowest to fastest time is 1.9 seconds. That is huge. That is absolutely huge. So I think this is an absolute truth that I come away with from this video, which is if you're on tile and you can warm up your tires before the run begins, then you can make noticeably better traction than if you didn't do it, to the order of magnitude of almost 2 seconds on a 30-second lap. That is massive. The next time you are at your drift track, I want you to watch a car go around, pick a spot on the track, and then after that car goes by, I want you to count out 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, and see just how far away that car has gone. And that is potentially how much gap that car could pull on you in a single lap in the comp. But here's where the burn tune stuff comes in, and how you prep and how you get to the track is because if you notice, if just regular driving, it took me 2 to 3 laps before the tires got any heat in them. You're not going to get that in a comp. You sit your car down, you run, right? So if your comp allows you to full throttle blast before you get to the starting line, from wherever your car is parked to the starting line, then there's a chance that that temperature can make a massive difference. So maybe at the end of the day, this burn tune stuff is really important. 1, from the scuffing of a tire, but then 2, from the heating up of the tire. But here's the magic. I don't think you have to do the crazy camber in order to get this magic. And here's why I say that. We actually had a guy on track. What he did is just absolutely pegged his throttle. When he's got a lot of turbo, a lot of boost in it, that thing was screaming around for part of that lap. We pulled his car off track, we immediately hit it with the temperature gauge, and his rear tires across the whole contact patch, not just on the edge, were at almost 100 degrees. Wow. So, do I think there's possibly a traction difference between 70 something and 100, that 30-degree swing? Yeah. I haven't proven it yet, but my guess is, yes, my guess is that there is a noticeable traction difference. This, I think, is why the burn tunes really matter. It is a heat buildup, but if you're only doing that heat buildup to the inside edge of the tire, I think you're missing out. I think you gotta lay your camber back out, maximize your contact patch. If I look at the minimum times across all of these runs that I did, it still lines up. So it's not that, one of the theories was that by increasing more camber, you're going to increase the temperature on that inside of the tire. And 1, my temperature gauge proved that is not true. 2, if you look at just the minimum lap time across all, the fastest lap across all of the different cambers that I ran, it was still the more flat cambers with the bigger contact patch that still ended up coming out fast, even after like 10 laps. So by getting camber, you don't build extra temperature than you really would when the tire is just flat. All right, now is your turn. What did I get wrong? What did I get wrong in this test? Let me know down in the video comments what you think the differences are. Do you see a gap or an error or something in how I did this? What is your personal experience? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll be happy to talk about it down there with you. If you're curious about any of the other testing that I've done, there'll be a Drift Tech playlist. It'll pop up over here to your right. I hope to see you in one of those videos. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.